Another recipe coming to you from Domaine de Cru, the home of Eldon Selections and BurgundyWine.com. Today we've chosen a Cary Potet Montagny 1er Cru, and we've paired it with a citrus cured salmon with a trio of fennel and pink pepper. You can of course buy your salmon completely filleted, but it's not that difficult to try and do it yourself. You need a sharp knife, and the trick is to angle the knife gently along the bone. And the fillet comes away quite nicely. You can see there it's a clean along the bone. Turn over. And the same process on the other side, just very gently running it along the spine. Take your time. No rush. Again, you can see the spine there. We just use a spoon to remove the rest of the salmon. You can use this for lots of things. Nice just to make a little mousseline, or even just fry off in a pan, make with some scrambled eggs for breakfast. Quickly wipe down your board, and you're just going to remove these rib bones that run into the belly. So again, the process is simple. You just very gently angle the knife along. There's a little piece of the spine bones still embedded in the fillet, just remove them gently. And now the pin bones, you can just expose them by running your finger or your knife very gently against them, and then they'll become exposed, and with a fish pincer or pliers, remove. It's important not to tear the fish, so remove the bones in the angle that they are coming out, not against the grain. For this recipe, we're going to skin the fish. So just make a little incision at the back, and then allow your knife. It's the same process. You run the angle down towards the skin gently. I use my pliers to hold the end of the fish, and you'll see how skin comes away quite easily. This kind of slightly discolored flesh, it's fine to eat, but I just like to remove it for this recipe because we want to maintain the color. So just run the knife down each side. And there's your completely deboned fillet. It's a dry cure, so we have some sugar, brown sugar, salt, star anise, a mix of citrus, orange and lemon rind, and lime. Put all the citrus into your blender. The smell is incredible at this stage. Slowly add the other ingredients. The idea of a brine is that we will cure the salmon for 12 hours, and this removes some of the water content, kills any of the bacteria, and allows you to cook the salmon very, very rare because it's basically cooked by the cure. This leaves you with a really tender, flavoursome piece of salmon.
If
If you look back on some of our other recipes, we've used a similar cure for our duck breast. So please have a look and check that video out also. It's important to combine all the elements of the dry cure well. A plastic container is good. As long as you don't use metal, it's fine. A layer of the dry cure. I've cut the salmon to fit the container. Cover. You can layer another piece of salmon on top. And with this container, it just meant I had 2 smaller tail pieces left over, which I was able to put on top. So this amount of brine will do for both sides of the salmon. You cover, leave into the fridge, and 12 hours later, this is what you have. The salt and sugar has cured the salmon. You can see it has a slight look of smoked salmon, but it will be much more tender inside. Wash away the brine, and we come to the fennel, trio of fennel, and other elements of the dish. Very roughly chop the fennel up. This is for our fennel puree. We're going to poach this in milk and a small bit of butter. A few florets of cauliflower. And don't be afraid to use the stem of the cauliflower either. There's great flavour in there and no reason why you shouldn't use it. The point is you don't want any cooking liquor left over, so you only add 1/3 of the pot of liquor. Our second element of fennel is going to be just roasted and slightly dehydrated thin slices from the heart of the fennel. And our third element is just shredded fennel that's been retained in some iced water. So here you see our puree completely finished. We've gunned it, it's blended and seasoned, very smooth. And we're returning it to the pan just to warm so we can plate up. Salmon is so simple. It's already cured, so don't worry about cooking it essentially. We use a pan just to create some texture and draw out some of the flavors. We're going to use a dressing of chopped dill and pink pepper. And I have some orange segments there, which we'll also use. An excellent olive oil that a lot of people may know, Ellie and Dennis source in Italy. It's really, really good for a dinner party because you don't have to worry about the cooking. You just need to sear the outside. Think of it similar to a piece of tuna. You could plate the dish many different ways. Today we've just decided to add our puree. You can see the color of the salmon is really nice there. Adding our iced fennel. So that's our second element. And here's our third element, which is the thinly sliced roasted fennel. We also managed to get some samphire or salicorn when we bought the fish, so that adds a nice salty element to it. You don't really need to worry too much about the seasoning. This is the pink pepper and dill oil. Season, and it went really, really well with this Montagny 1er Cru. Hope you enjoy.